Welcome, everyone. Today I have with me Ken Riddle, who is the Supervisor of Chemical Process at Lakeland Electric. Ken will be joining us for his second time at the upcoming Coal Ash and Combustion Residual Management Conference this October. Ken was a presenter at the inaugural event last year, and so we're very glad to have him back again this year. Thank you so much for joining us today, Ken.
Well, thank you, Kendall.
You're welcome. Just to get a little bit of background on the event really quick. So the event will be held October 7th through 8th, 2020 this year in Nashville, Tennessee. The Coal Ash event brings together coal-fired power plant professionals with areas of focus in environmental remediation, coal ash and CCR, regulatory and similar. The event really harmonizes strategies for ash pond closures, groundwater remediation, regulatory compliance, beneficial reuse, and so much more. So without further ado, we'll just jump right into the questions here with Ken. The first question I have for you, Ken, what are the two topics that you are presenting on, and how does it relate to the audience?
Well, the first topic I'm going to be talking about is centralizing insight to evaluate beneficial reuse of CCR approaches. And basically, I'll be talking about some techniques that we've utilized to try to increase our market share and to manage our production as best we can to kind of match what the demand is in the marketplace, and trying to give yourself a little flexibility on if you can't sell a product one way, maybe you can sell it another. For instance, we sell gypsum both into the agricultural market. We've reached out to the wallboard market, but we don't do sales there. We also sell our gypsum to agriculture and to cement. So, those are the kind of things that I'll be talking about.
Okay, awesome. And then in regards to one of your sessions, what have you found most successful when reclaiming and extracting rare earth elements from coal ash?
Really, the rare earth angle is sort of experimental at this point. I've been reaching out to the National Energy Technology Laboratory and to the Ames Research Laboratory and talking and working with some people there and trying some experimental techniques to see if it is possible. And it does appear to be possible. There's some techniques to enhance recovery, and really that's what I'm going to be talking about. That is something that I think has potential for the future. Rare earths are something that we use every day. We're using them in this discussion right now because I'm using an iPad, and the iPad has quite a bit of rare earths used in its manufacture and production. It's part of our modern age, and it's something that we can get from coal as well as other sources.
Right. Very cool. I didn't even know that. That's an interesting fact. Okay, and then how does your team evaluate beneficial reuse approaches, and what do you consider in the process?
We consider, first of all, as everybody does, follow the money. How much money are we going to get for the material? The other thing, the biggest value to us is to not accumulate materials, not have to landfill them or store them. So that's the biggest bang for the buck for us. The other things we look at is what market is this going into, and are we comfortable with this being into that market long term? Is this a use that we feel like our materials are good for? And of course, when you're talking about ash going into ready mix and materials going to cement kilns, you're not really too concerned about it. We've been approached in the past, and we have done a little bit of test work with some people looking at road bases and stuff like that, and we're just not really comfortable with the long-term liability utilizing our materials in that kind of space. is, that's kind of a long-term liability that we don't really want to take on.
Hmm. Okay, that makes sense. All right. And then what do you predict for the future of beneficial reuse methods?
I think things like the rare earth like reclamation. I've been working with some new technologies that are out for reclaiming like coal fines and mine tailings and things like that. And I think as the coal plants go away, these new technologies are going to become the source of byproducts, fly ash, and other materials for use in cement and in concrete. And to me, that's going to be the future. On the gypsum side, that's a little bit more iffy, but there are ways of producing gypsum and mining natural gypsum, but we're going to have sources for these materials because the needs for them, the demands for them, are not going to go away even if the coal plants do.
Right, definitely. All right. And then how are you and your organization adapting in the era of COVID-19?
Well, we just had a meeting yesterday with our city commission. They were considering putting the entire community here under a mask order. They decided not to do that, but they've strongly advised everybody to wear a mask. We're wearing masks here in the workplace. We're wearing masks on the golf carts, or in any kind of vehicle where you can't be 6 feet apart. If people come into my office, they have to be wearing masks, gloves, things like that. We're using hand sanitizer. We're taking temperatures of everybody coming in to the facility. You have to take your temperature every morning before you come in to work. Those types of protocols. We're trying to do what CDC is advising, and
Right.
so far it's been working out for us. We haven't had an infection outbreak out here or anything. Knock on wood. So hopefully that continues.
Right, definitely. Yeah, I would hope so for everyone in general. So great. Okay, and then last question here. As a past speaker at the inaugural Coal Ash and Combustion Residual Management Conference, what are you most looking forward to this year? And what was your most enjoyable memory from the event last year?
Well, I enjoy public speaking fairly well. I spent some time as an adjunct professor at college, and I enjoy speaking to groups. If I think I've got some information I can share with them. What I really enjoyed was the ability to network and to meet with peers and kind of pick their brains and see what they're doing. That's what's always valuable, is the sharing of information to me.
Right, definitely. Well, we will have a lot of that there, I'm sure, this year. So we are looking forward to having you again, and hopefully you are looking forward to the event. Thank you so much for taking some time today to talk with us, and yeah, we'll see you in October.
Awesome. Thank you very much.